What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Looks like old Joey boy, has enraged Twitter yet again. This time by making a comment, an endorsement, I guess you could call it, of somebody who he thinks would be a good president. And well, the salt has been amazing. You know, the Daily Beast, Insider, all these places just raging about it. You see, the Hill. This is the Hill writing. Well, let's start with like some of the more biased stuff, which is great. Daily Beast writes: Joe Rogan backs Ron DeSantis for president because, of course. Oh, they're just. Ooh, why would Joe Rogan do this to them? Joe Rogan is going quote all in. I don't think he's going all in. He made like he made like a casual remark about it, but this is the Daily Beast, right? Going all in on DeSantis. On Tuesday's episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, a star podcaster, once a Bernie Sanders endorser, told former Disney star Gina Carano that DeSantis would be great, would work as a good president. He explained, I mean, what he's done for Florida has been admirable. I feel like what he did for Florida, a lot of people give him a lot of grief, but ultimately he was correct. He was correct when it comes to passings. He was correct when it comes to protecting all the vulnerable populations. He was correct in terms of the distribution of particular treatments. While DeSantis, who famously told Rogan not to apologize for using a slur, did tout the benefits of the particular treatment during the coof, he continued to push them during a different surge where they were proved less effective. So it's like the Daily Beast is like, well, yeah, he was right, but he was also wrong. Like he was right about this, but look at this other thing that he was wrong about. Of course, still in the other criticism of DeSantis, including how he appears to wield the state's power against his culture war villains like Disney, didn't seem to matter much to Rogan. You know, he's not perfect. He said he's a human being, but what he's done is stand up for freedoms. That said, I wouldn't exactly call that going all in. And look, I'll be the first to also say that is for all of the good that I think Ron DeSantis has done, I do worry. It's hard to feel bad for Disney, right? I don't. But he did kind of say, well, you went against me, so I'm going to remove this, political benefit that, they shouldn't have had in the first place, but it was the disagreement that spurred it. Also, there was a thing with like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, I think, where he was like, "Oh, you speak against me, I'll take it." Like when it's some huge, super huge mega corporation, it's hard to really give a dang about it. But let's say you were some local contractor that had government contracts, and you spoke out against Ron DeSantis, and he took away your contracts, even though you had earned them or something like that. I feel like people would feel different about that. That's something I would want to keep an eye on because I don't think I'd want a president like doling out stuff, personal grudges. But in the face of literally everything else, I think like DeSantis has been pretty good. Business Insider having a melty, the high profile fan base of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just got bigger. Joe Rogan, the world's #1 most listened to podcaster, said Tuesday that he thinks the 43-year-old governor would work as a good president. You know what I like about him? He's not 100. That seems like a big, a hard ask these days for leaders. But I like that, he's not 150. He seems like he's in relatively good physical condition, of sound mind, which is rare these days. What he's done for Florida has been admirable. Rogan also referred to President Joe Biden as a dead man while discussing his state of the United States. Rogan's comments are likely to add to speculation that DeSantis would run for president in 2024, even though the governor has repeatedly said he's focused on the 2022 race for re-election in Florida. Earlier this month, DeSantis beat former President Donald Trump in a straw poll of self-identified conservative conference goers at the Western Conservative Summit, who were asked who they'd like to be the 2024 presidential nominee. A morning consult poll out of Wednesday showed growing support for Ron DeSantis. Well, here's the thing. DeSantis probably cannot win without Trump's direct endorsement. There are people who voted for Trump and, and believed in that decision at that time and then are looking maybe elsewhere right now. But there are a lot of loyalists that really want him to run again. And if he doesn't like directly endorse DeSantis, or if he were to run against DeSantis, or let's say as a third party or something like that, that would be disastrous for Republicans, because Trump would bring millions of votes. He just would. Even though I would prefer DeSantis, but the guy's got to say he wants the job first. You know, like a lot of people like Ted Cruz, but then Ted Cruz has turned out to be a little wishy-washy on certain things. You know, and he doesn't want it. He said that he doesn't want it. So until, you know, Ron DeSantis says he wants to, like DeSantis, Kristi Noem would be a interesting ticket. Young and attractive in the Republican Party would be interesting to see run. But he hasn't said he wants it yet. You know, last week, pundit Piers Morgan, non-American, called on Republicans to dump Trump and support DeSantis earlier this month. Tesla and SpaceX CEO said he'd likely support DeSantis as well. During his podcast, I mean, look, Elon has 100 million followers on Twitter. 100 million. He's got to be one of the largest accounts by far, right? And even with the full weight of the kind of establishment media, you get all these articles, Insider, Daily Beast, even like KTLA, sharing from the Hill. You know, all these are left-leaning. And you look at a lot of these websites, like, or the reaction from Twitter, absolutely amazing. Joe Rogan could go eat a gigantic bag of dongs. This dude has daughters, for Christ's sake. Using the Lord's name in vain. I'm not. I'm reading it. Says that he endorsed DeSantis for president. F him. His wife and his daughter's rights have been taken away by the Republican Party, and yet here he is. Disgusting. How about the USA Singers? We make resistance music. What are you resisting? We're living in the best time ever in this country. And it's not great right now, considering, but I mean, you know, relatively speaking, well, the 90s were pretty awesome. I don't know. You get what I'm saying. We stand with democracy. When people say we stand with democracy, what they really mean is we stand against Republicans. Because you see, we fight against GOP. Well, if you stand with democracy, then why are you against? Are you for voting, or are you not? Joe Rogan could go F himself with Ron DeSantis. Why are these people always so vulgar? I know it's a meme, like you guys give me a bunch of garbage for like not cursing or dodging around words and things like that. I just think, you know, there's a lot of reasons I do it. I want my show to be consumed by as many people as possible. And if you have all sorts of curse words and things like that, YouTube makes that more difficult. Also, you know, I don't want to like have, you know, I feel like using curse words is like a, I mean, believe me, in real life, or if you watch my stream, I use them all the time. But it's like a vice or something. It's not you know what I mean? Like it's not essential. So I just don't use them, because there is a percentage of my viewership that doesn't like that kind of language. And so I don't use it, because it costs me nothing to just say dumb rear instead of saying the actual word. You know what I mean? The rest of it, like, you know, in Twitter is just absolutely losing its collective mind. Joe Rogan is back in the cartoon rodent, and I don't mean Mickey Mouse. I mean, it's everybody is going to collectively fight against us. I don't think, you know, there are people that support it. You see Newsmax, which is like they're definitely hard right. I don't know. Far right is used like in a negative connotation. I don't know if I would call them that. I don't follow their content enough. And all he says is what he's done is admirable. He's not like he's telling his viewers, get out there and vote for Ron DeSantis. He's not saying that. He was just like casually saying, hey, like this dude has done some good things that I kind of like. A D-head endorsing another D-head. No surprise there. Coming from the same people who want to vote for Howard Stern and Bradley Cooper. Like, literally, that's what Howard Stern is talking about. Howard Stern is talking about running for president with Bradley Cooper as his running mate. I mean, good? I think you should. I think you absolutely should. Because that's going to be any more spreading out of the votes for weird Joe Biden will increase the likelihood of the Republicans winning, which is, I think, better for this country right now, based on the, you know, based on the results we've seen over the past few years. Now, granted, like I said, I want to point out many times, I thought Bush Jr. was a joke, terrible president, awful in every conceivable way. So I'm not like a red till dead or blue, no matter who guy. I think the Republicans have better options right now to fix the problems, that this country has. And I can't imagine, people fighting against that. The idea that you can just look out the window and have 1,000 reasons to change your vote. But that's neither here nor there. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.